The intention of these Beyond seminars is to look into the future, to look at how we might do things in the future.
I'm Paul Hatch, I'm Digital Director at Base One. I'm just going to take you through a sort of introduction and background to personas and where they've come from. Personas based on real life empirical evidence that you collect from the people that you are targeting. Then they're not based on assumptions. What they're a way of doing is personalizing all that research that you collect and creating a sort of an easy to remember manifestation of all that data. Something that can be shared across the team. A way of, it's creating an archetype, a way of sort of bringing it to life and making it and sharing it amongst your team. It's a way of making it usable, memorable, and visual as well. They can then help you as marketing people or people who are providing a service or a product actually produce marketing or the service and product that people actually want to use, that actually find useful and actually deal with the needs that they have. They do this by putting the audience right in the center of what we're trying to do. So rather than us focusing on design or focusing on a deadline or focusing on just doing the job, we put the audience, the customer and the audience in the middle and build it around that, really. Okay. Because of this, they sort of force us to, they're quite powerful because they force us to reevaluate what we know about our customers and our audience, target audience. So they challenge us, and in that way, persona can be a little bit, awkward, I suppose, because they force you to really dig a little bit deeper and challenge the assumptions that you may have about your targeted audience. For sort of history of persona, it came out of I suppose user-centered design is the sort of the practice where personas emerge from, and the principles of user-centered design are this really. The business results depend on your users, which is kind of obvious. But you are not your users, and this is an important one. They don't think like we do. They don't really care like we do, and then they're not alike. The next thing that you may be asking is how is this difficult to segment? How is this different, rather, to segmentation? Segmentation is more about from us being the companies who've got something to sell or the agencies helping them sell it. Looking from the outside at the people we want to sell to, the buyers, the prospects, the customers, the users. And we generally do that. We'll segment on firmographics or demographics and try to identify who it is that we're trying to sell to. But what we really need, that can only tell us so much, really. What personas do is, what they don't tell us is what these guys inside are thinking. What personas do is give us much more of an idea about the behaviors, goals, attitudes, and the motivations, that's the key thing, of the people that we're trying to sell to, what they are. I suppose the key thing is, one, if you're going to create personas, you do need a reason to create them. You can't just say, okay, let's just do some personas. It should be based upon an actual, strategic need. Be it, you've got a website to develop that you want to make more effective. You're doing some brand development work, or you're doing some particular marketing activity. That's the first thing you start with. And because of that, that will actually help you inform the methodology, because there are different types of persona that you can create. You could create a marketing persona, and that's going to mainly concern with the way someone buys something. So it's going to look, the story it tells is going to concern the way and the buying process they go through, their position in the decision-making unit, and so on. Another type of persona would be a user persona, and that is more based on how someone actually uses the service. So that would be maybe more appropriate in a website design or a product design. So the process that you go through to create those would be slightly different, and the outcome would be different. As B2B, another way of looking, you can also create organizational personas, which describe how a business or organization acts and what motivates them. The second thing is really about the methodology that goes through, that you go through to create the persona, and Glenn will talk about that a little bit more detail later on. But this is a critical bit, because you can a persona isn't just a case of sitting around and collating all your assumptions about your audience. It has to be based on a real, a rigorous methodology about collecting the information, then processing it, sifting through it, and distilling it down to a real persona. If that process isn't rigorous, you're probably going to end up something that isn't really representative of your users. You're not going to uncover the insights that they can help you uncover. So, by having that sort of shorthand access to who you're marketing, or the customers, you're really creating that sort of shared empathy and understanding around the people in your team now. And it's a way of making sure everybody is aligned and everybody has a common vision. It cuts out individual interpretation of the raw data. Because of this, and because we've got this persona and we've got this common understanding, it actually helps you make better decisions, helps make decisions faster, and the decisions that you make will generally be better. So there's less debate about what we should do, because we've got a common fixed idea on who it is we're talking to. And therefore, because we know and we've got researched persona about who it is we're marketing to, or who this website design is for, the decisions we make, both in be it interface design or messaging, should be better. They should be more appropriate. They should actually make us get it right.